Listen, have you ever dealt with someone that you felt like, listen, this person is extremely argumentative? Every time I talk with them, the negativity that oozes out of them is just contagious at times. You know, you hold a conversation with someone and they make a statement, a general statement, and then they say, go and do the research yourself. You'll find out, you'll see, when it all could have been solved with a simple interaction, conversation. Listen, that's no difference in just living your life day to day and doing an interview. Doing an interview from the stance of being a host or a guest. There are times when you will be challenged. You will definitely feel like, listen, this is kind of a battlefield. How do I maneuver the crossfire of this interview? Hey, I am a podcast pro and I am Marion. Excited to talk about what we are about to delve into because it is definitely going to help you on your platform or as you go onto other people's platform to know how to maneuver that crossfire, because it really shouldn't be a battlefield, but you need to recognize and be ready for it if it is. Listen, I just want to go ahead. I am a podcast pro. Pro P. Yes, pro does stand for, is an abbreviation for professional. But our P in pro, purposeful. Whatever you do, do it with a purpose. Know the end from the beginning, but also know that God may unfold a better ending than you ever even thought of. Listen, are resilient. You want to make sure that as you go through the battlefield of an interview, if that what it turns out to be, then you want to make sure that you're resilient and that you're not taking those shots, even though you're stuck in the crossfire, that you're able to maneuver through it and be resilient and make it to a glorious end for you. Listen, you want to be outstanding in everything you do. Every time you speak, you want to show up as your outstandingly unique self. Stand out and don't be afraid to be who you are. I want to start this by playing just a clip of something that I saw just a minute ago. I saw it just a minute ago. It aired earlier today, and I feel as though it's definitely something that is a teachable moment. So let's go. That's exactly, that's exactly how you finish with grace. You have to look at it as if it's a heckler that's actually trying to provoke you into responding in a negative manner. Did you see how she did that? I'm not speaking on the topic. I'm speaking on Michelle Obama's response to knowing that someone is trying to provoke her. She stayed focused on the goal. She already knew what she would do if someone did this to her. And that's why we're here tonight. We're here tonight to divulge how this can happen in an interview, how quickly something can turn left if you're not in control of it. So what we want to do is help you be in control. So that battlefield that we're speaking about is your interview, whether you're a host or a guest, you want to make sure you know the difference between someone arguing with you, meaning a healthy back and forth on a topic so that you can both pull from it all that everyone needs to know, and sometimes just not just, but sometimes come to an agreement. Agree to disagree. That's what will happen at times. But let's the other side of that healthy argument is someone that's argumentative. See, that heckler wanted to argue, wanted to say what they wanted to say in that moment, despite this not being their time to speak or their platform to do it from. The thing is, you want to make sure you understand how you want to be respected and how you want to be represented or represent yourself in those times of being heckled. Because I just look at it that way so that maybe it'll be easier and more simple to deal with and not be thrown off. Because when someone's argumentative, they're kind of belligerent, combative, contentious, opinionated. In just that short 24-second clip, I heard all of that in that one statement. But the response of Michelle Obama was, I don't do that. I don't do that well. Meaning that whole go back and forth with you where it's not the topic of or the reason why I'm here in this moment. I don't do that. And I'm not going to do that. Further to say, she went on to say further, and if either you're speaking or I'm speaking, that's just it. It's that simple to shut someone down. You don't have to allow yourself to be pulled or drawn into the battlefield. You know, you want to make sure that you're aware of this because guess what? People don't always have to be yelling to do this. There are some people that have mastered the strategy of slipping it in really nice, cool, and calm, and you may not even recognize what's going on. So you have to already know, you have to already be focused, you have to already have your plan of why you're there, what you're speaking on. Yes, with an open mind for those nuggets of unveiling of things that you weren't expecting. But you have to be sensitive to the moment and know, listen, something's not right. This isn't what I'm here for. But have a response ready in terms of being able to say, well, back on the topic that I was speaking, simple statement, turns it right around, ignores whatever that was just thrown at you, whether directly in your face or slickly, just a sleight of hand, and there it is, a rude statement or a crude statement or just a question that's so far left, this isn't what I'm here for. So you redirect. You redirect to the point of why you are there, what the point of what you're saying is, what you're there to share on, the authority that you have come to share and speak and cultivate someone's life to grow and be better, to shed light on things that people should do and shouldn't do, not to catfight, not to get lost on the hamster wheel of going back and forth with pointless dialogue with someone who may have, let's say, made a general statement and then said, but you go do the research. It's right there. You'll find it. I find that that is definitely a descriptive of an argumentative person. I know that there are some people who speak in that tone. I just want you to know that's not helpful. To make a blanket statement and then tell someone to go do the research yourself. I'm not going to show you where it is. Not helpful, because if you actually want to impress upon me your point of view, it would be better with evidence, with scenarios, with examples, with tangible takeaways, so that, guess what? When I do choose to go away and do my own research, I have a foundation to do it from. That's what it's supposed to be about. So I just want to impress upon everyone to make sure that they know the difference between an argumentative person or situation and a healthy argument. Because with that healthy argument, listen, you're given great information that may or may not sway you to that person's belief, understanding, or experience, choice of experience. But it may just help us understand each other better. So to reach that better understanding, that healthy dialogue, that healthy back and forth, that healthy argument of, this is what I believe. This is why I believe. This is how what I believe shows up for me. This is how it benefits me. These are the things you need to watch out for that could hurt you in this. And then allowing the other person to express themselves. Listen, a healthy dialogue. It's amazing. I can say honestly, the era that I grew up in, there was a lot of don't ask for nothing, don't touch nothing, don't say nothing. So I'm not saying that I was separated and secluded in this train of thought, in this manner of grooming from most adults during my childhood, which then fed from the adults to the teens that may have been watching me. Because it was a thing that was said during the era of my growing up, it actually there was a point in my life where I realized I really didn't know how to have a healthy conversation, how to have healthy dialogue. I actually didn't know how to formulate my own thoughts. Just want to be transparent. To the depth of being able to make a decision, formulate thoughts around the decision, and then have the words to articulate it healthily. That is something that if you feel as though you can't do that communication, that's the component you're going to have to start to work on first. It took time for me to even realize I had the issue. Because I was groomed as a child to just do as I was told, I grew up thinking I was just to do as I was told. When I first realized, wait, so I get a say, when I got old enough, because I was always the youngest or in the youngest generation in my family, when I got older and there were younger behind me, And then I got to make decisions and I got to make choice. And as I grew older, then it became time for me to make decisions and make choices, in turn, have conversations. It took me working on my communication skills so that I wouldn't be argumentative and just respond to things without thinking them through and making my choice. And then standing on my choice with strength and confidence. That in itself is something that will help you, because the argumentative, that could be the other person or it could be us and we don't even realize it. So we have to pay attention and be very, very attentive to whether or not the dialogue we're having is argumentative or a healthy argument. A healthy argument to help someone learn, grow, to cultivate better in someone's life, to make their life experience better in the authentic way that you have realized and you're sharing. So whether that's trademarking, finance, relationships, surviving abuse, whatever that is you speak on, or as a podcast host with your special niche as your platform, you want to make sure that you are ready, willing, and able to recognize when you're having healthy argument, conversation, dialogue, interview versus getting on the hamster wheel with an argumentative person that's not really sharing. They're not an open book. They're closed to everyone. It's another signal. They're closed to everyone and they're expecting everyone else to figure it out just because they're there. I can't figure it out just because I can see you or I can hear you. I need you to actually be willing to open the book of authority that you have and share and answer questions and expound and give examples and be willing to be vulnerable and share your own experiences. Most people that are coaches and hosts of podcasts and have their own business, they'll share with you that their journey wasn't easy. It wasn't just instantaneous. Those things do happen, but there's a process. There's a learning process. There's a learning curve. There's growth. There's cultivating. In that cultivating, there's pruning. There are things you got to get rid of. There are things that'll choke you out if you don't get rid of them. It is very, very vital to understand the battlefield of being a podcaster. You want to make sure that you don't get caught up in something that doesn't represent you well. Something that doesn't aid your cause and your community. Something that actually steals the authority that you are from you. Something that diminishes your value. Something that diminishes the value of your community. Arguing back and forth in a manner that is emotional, taking things personal, is unhealthy. So you make sure that when you show up for the interview as a guest or host, that you're ready and equipped with everything that you plan on speaking about, with definitive articulation of how you're going to convey it to everyone. Also be aware of when someone is trying to pigeonhole you into foolishness or snare you into emotions or cause you to get so far off topic that you can't even find your way back. Don't allow anyone to pull on your emotions, to cause you to come out of character. Character, I don't mean false representation. I mean the authentic representation of who you are for the community that you serve. I thought that this topic was one that is not really addressed enough, if you ask me. I think that we have to learn to not be afraid of someone having opposing arguments to you, but also know when it's time to have that dialogue back and forth, and when it's time for someone to be shut down because what they're saying is off topic, inappropriate, disrespectful. Even in that disrespect, you can still keep your calm, cool, and collected self. Let me give you a tip. As I was raising my children, anyone who knows me knows that I'm very animated, I'm very loud. My facial expressions, my voice, everything is very animated. But to raise my children, I didn't want to be that parent that yelled about everything, screamed about everything that I did not want them to do or want them to be involved in. I did not think that was a great way to express myself or have them to control their emotions. The best way that I could raise my children is to show them how I wanted them to be, to actually be that example. So when they tried it by yelling, or even I could see it was coming, I would take my voice down really low and really calm, to the point that they had to take their voice down really low and really calm to hear what I was saying. Because I needed to correct them, but I needed them to see we're not doing that. We are not going to behave in this manner. And I would get quieter and quieter till they would lean all the way in and calm themselves down. So I would say for a guest that's irate and loud, you make your statement. You know your statement. Hey, what did Michelle Obama say? I don't do this well. It's not what I do. I have seen interviews where celebrities, you talk about a subject matter that they already, it looked like they were looking at the person that was interviewing them as if to say, I told you we weren't talking about this. Whitney Houston would just tell them, I told you that we're not doing that. Some people just make their way immediately back to the topic at hand. Well, I heard that you and your so-and-so broke up or it's rough right now. Oh, I have an album coming out. It comes out on Wednesday. My favorite song is this, my favorite song. They just brush past the statement as if it wasn't said. As my girl Sasha says, if you don't feed it, it won't grow. They didn't acknowledge it. They did not allow it to even have space to live and breathe. Amazing. No space to live and breathe. Foolishness. I don't do it. Neither should you. Listen, now all of this, I want to give a disclaimer. All of this is if your podcast is not one to be giving foolishness. There are some podcasts that are for this. I'm just now reading the chat, and it gives me so much great joy to have Joe with me in the chat. He said, hey, partner, I might not be on, but I had to show up and support. I love you, my brother. Do what you're doing. Listen, life is going well for you, and I want it to keep going well for you and your beautiful family. And then his second comment, really low and calm. Listen, is always really low and really calm is always the best approach to counter and diffuse tension. That from the man himself, Joe. And with that said, I want to make sure everyone knows. Listen, I want to go back. The reason why I talked about this topic, we got an email from one of our community members. And they said, listen, how do you deal with that? If someone's being argumentative. So I just want to tell you, T, we're here for you. We got you. Girl, you don't have to go anywhere. Come right here with all your questions. And that's for everyone in our community. If you're hearing this and you have a question about podcasting, because we're here, I Am a Podcast Pro is here to go behind the mic to the person, to help groom you so that you feel you are confident, strong, and ready to do all that you've been created to do as a podcaster or a guest on a podcast with ease, with understanding, and a great foundation to go ahead and build all that you want to build. I'm excited to share with everyone. Follow us on all social media platforms, all social media platforms. I am a podcast pro. That's right. What does Joe say? Own it. Own it. Say it. I am a podcast pro. That's the first step in this whole thing. Pro, listen, on purpose, are resilient. These obstacles, these traps they set on the battlefield, and you didn't know it was a battlefield, don't let it catch you. You got it. You can maneuver through that crossfire to safety and convey what you're there to convey. Listen, outstanding. Don't be afraid. Stand out as your unique self. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if there was something I said today in this moment and you feel like, wait, what about this? Please email us at iamapodcastpro@gmail.com. We'd be happy, we'd be elated, we'd be honored to assist. All right. Can't wait to have my boy back, but I'm telling you right now, he's doing great things. God is blessing him, and we wish nothing but the best for him and his family. See everybody on the next time, and as my man says, peace.